all you have to know about sickle cell disease. Now, why is this very important? Because you need to know this before you get married. And right now, even before you fall in love, because some of you are getting pregnant even before marriage. So you have to know. Okay. So what is sickle cell disease? Now, for the purpose of this video, sickle cell disease is a disease of the blood. It means that it affects your blood. Okay. So in the blood, we have a structure known as hemoglobin. So that is where sickle cell disease affects. Okay. For a normal person, you don't have sickle cell disease. So your genes are identified as AA. Okay. But then if you have the sickle cell disease, your genes are identified as SS. Do you understand? Or sometimes we have a trait known as SC. Okay. So what happens is that you can have one normal gene and one sickle cell gene. When I say genes, for the purpose of this video, genes are structures that carry information to make you as a human being. Do you understand? So you can have a normal gene or a sickle cell gene. So if you have a normal gene, you're identified as AA. If you have sickle cell gene, you're identified as SS. But you can have a normal gene and a sickle cell gene. So in that circumstance, you're identified as AS. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, you can also have a trait of sickle cell C. That is not S, but then it's C. So you can have a normal gene and a sickle cell trait. So in that instance, you have AC. Now, where does marriage come inside? How is this important? Let's do genetic compatibility. Let's see who you can marry and who you can't marry. For AA, you can marry another AA or an AS, someone with a sickle cell trait. So if you give birth, you are never going to have sickle cell children. For AS and AS, you cannot marry, because when you marry, you have a 25% chance of giving birth to someone with sickle cell disease. And someone will be like, oh, 25% is small, so we can give it a try. No. Knows that genetic is randomization, it's probability. So you can give birth to 4 children and all of them have sickle cell disease. So for AS, you can never marry someone with the full sickle cell trait. I mean SS. AS and SS are not compatible because you have 50% chance of giving birth to children with sickle cell disease. Okay. For SS and SS, that's a no-go area because all your children will be sickle cell disease. And for AC and AS, that one too is a no-go area because you have risk of producing sickle cell children. So this is very important so that if you are going to marry, you ask your partner, what is your sickle cell status? If you realize that you guys are not compatible, please don't even try, because after birth, if you are not lucky and your child is sickle cell disease, you are going to spend the rest of your life going to the hospital, going to do checkups, and having so many rounds to do. So please, sickle cell disease is preventable. Know this and know peace.